Hello and welcome to another guest episode of the Strategy and Soul podcast. Today, we are joined by the CEO and founder of the Corporate Escapists, Christine Innes. Yeah, big round of applause. We are two local gals here in Southeast Queensland, Australia, and it's been a wild journey of us getting to know each other over time and hanging out at different networking events and me guest speaking at her events and being on her podcast. She also runs an international magazine, which has so many views per month. Like, it's wild. So tell us more about your entrepreneurial journey, Christine, and give yourself a bit of an introduction.
Oh, thanks, beautiful. I'm so excited to be here. Oh, where do I start? Look, I had what I call the not so gracious exit from corporate. So I was, doing what society sort of thinks that we need to do, which was climbing that shiny corporate ladder. And now I realize that the universe had different plans for me. So in 2015, I actually got diagnosed with 2 life-changing illnesses. I then left a toxic marriage, had to file for bankruptcy. And then I had what I call my pity party for the next few years, which is that poor me, why me, everything's happening to me. And then went on a beautiful journey of learning more about myself. And during that process, I got to know more, not only about me, but also the power of owning your story, and then also the power of sharing your story. And then from sharing it into my story in 2019, fast forward to now, and now I have 2 global businesses, get to work with amazing clients all around the world, and get to help other people own their story, but also show business owners the power of sharing their own story as well.
I love it. And I'm going to dive straight into some questions because I think why
Go.
not? We just want to get in and
Yeah.
get out and get some actionable tips happening for the viewers and listeners. So if you just rewind a little bit to some of the things that you'd written down, human connection
Yes.
is a massive part of your business values. It's your life values. And if you would be able to offer any tips to people that are a bit eluded to how this connection with other humans on a much deeper level as they unveil who they are in their marketing, what are some strategies and actions that they can take to discover this for themselves and to start implementing that into their businesses?
Oh, I love this question so much because I think we get so caught up, first of all, in doing the business, and we stop to think about why we started it. And if you can go back to that why and go, okay, it might have just been having a light bulb moment in the shower going, oh my God, why have I not thought about this? This is going to help so many people. Or, it's part of your own healing journey that, you're on here because you want to help other people who, you don't want other people to experience what you have. Sharing that why will give you that human connection that you cannot ever pay enough money for. And it is the best marketing tool that any business owner can have. You can go to and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to have PR done, but if you go out and share your why, you're going to get more client attraction than you could ever imagine, because people want to know about people. And it's, if you think about the big brands like Coca-Cola, like Disney and all of that, they share stories. All their marketing is about stories. And it's all about, taking people on a journey. Your why is taking people on a journey. And that's what gives you that human connection to other people.
I love it. So would you say that it's linked with relatability, or is that still a bit surface level?
I think it is related, it is relatable, but it also goes deeper because you're attracting a certain type of client because that's why you started that business. So people are going to automatically go, oh, I like it. I can, that no trust factor that is, big in marketing. They like it. They get to know you more, and they're going to actually trust you because you've been there, you've done it, you've experienced it. So those 3 factors are done. However, what it also does, it also allows people to come into sort of like your inner circle, like into you more, opposed to just going, oh, hey, I created this product. It's, you know, it does this, it's going to offer all of that. But if you can show them like, oh my God, like for me, I created the podcast, I created a magazine, I created these events because I wanted people to know the power of stories. I share my stories and I take people on a journey and I show them what's actually possible. And because you're doing it and you're leading by example, people buy into that so much more on that deeper level. But also, too, you then still get to be connected with your own why every single day as well to allow you to continue on your journey.
And there's less of a fabricated authoritarian type of, I'm in my authority. So if I
Yeah.
fabricate a really epic bio and people follow me because I know that I'm the expert in blah, 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 it's so much more human. And I really love that you've spoken into human connection in that way. So, how would you say that someone goes from being really vulnerable? And this is also something that I've now experienced and then embodied throughout this business journey of my own. But I'd love to hear your perspective on the shift from thinking, oh, that's a bit outside of my comfort zone, or I don't know if I could share all of those nitty gritty parts of my personal life and link my brand story and my reason why. And like, it can get quite complex for people that have a
Yeah.
lot of mindset blocks around showing up in their full authenticity. So what are the tools to actually get from point A to B when they're like, yep, I do desire to build better relationships within business. I do desire to be more relatable in my messaging and connect on a deeper level so people trust me more, because this is the transformation that you're speaking into already. What do we need to do to get to that point where that feels safe for us?
Yeah. First of all, you need to know your values. I think every single person, regardless whether or not you have a business, you need to know your values and what you stand for. If you don't stand for anything, you're going to fall for everything. So if you know what you stand for, then you're also going to be able to have healthy boundaries of what you're going to share. So yes, I share so much about my life. However, I don't share absolutely everything because I have a boundary in place. And that's because I know what my core values are. And my core values for my personal and for my business, they do interlink, but there are some, you know, differences with it. But when you really know those values and then you can set a healthy boundary of what you're prepared to share. So like when you're getting on like a podcast interview or you're writing an article or you're just talking to potential clients, you already know in your head, I'm safe to talk about this. I'm okay with that, but I'm not going to talk about this. And by knowing that, you step fully into your power because you can really lead the conversation to where you want it to go as well.
A lot of self-inquiry and deep self-trust that's required, and then decisions that get to be made with that internal conversation. And I
Yeah.
think that my other tip was just try, because I think a
Yeah.
lot of people, they might think I have to perfect all of these boundaries and I need to know exactly what I want to say, but they've not experimented either. And so I reckon there's
Mm.
a really good balance and an opportunity to find that equilibrium between, if I just say it and then I realize that that's not for me, then I don't have to do that again. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, that's like another angle. Something that I've experienced personally was that I had mindset blocks around sharing particular scenarios or
Yeah.
things in my life that I thought I'd be uncomfortable with. But when I did it, I was like,
Mm.
that actually wasn't that bad. Like, it's not a big deal. I
Yeah.
was making it a big deal because of all the stories that I was believing about what it meant about me and how that's going to be perceived and all of that. Like, the more emotionally immature things that we can do when we're acting from our inner child. And so, yeah,
Mm.
I think there's a lot of like healing that gets to be done in that as
Yeah.
well, and just taking those practical steps. But definitely that protective, in a non-egoic way, setting up that container for yourself to really
Yeah.
step into it, which is what you're expressing. I love that.
Yeah.
And what about your opinions on diversifying the way that you share your story?
Well, I learned earlier on. So when my son was in school, he was always getting into trouble. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? You know, but I then in my corporate career learnt like learning and development. That was actually one of my professions, and learning how that we all learn differently. And I'm like going, oh, this hit home. And the reason why I'm sharing that is like, we all learn differently. So you can't sit there and go, oh, I'm just only going to go and do Facebook posts, because not everyone reads. Like, that's not how people learn or consume information. So if you're not tapping into the 3 different ways that people learn, which is auditory, it's visual, and there's kinesthetic. And the kinesthetic is by doing. And I actually think that jumping on videos, I must have been Italian in my past life. Like, I talk with my hands, like, and all this sort of stuff. Like, but the kinesthetic sort of part of it is like you showing people how you've done it, and talking in person. So I think that's the way that we need to think about it. Is everybody consumes information differently. We're also very busy people, so how much time have they got? Where are they hanging out? There's a lot of different levels to it. But I always go back to when my son was at school, like, I wish I'd known that then, going, he learns with his hands. Like, that's how he learns. So if I could have taught him how to get the information he needed by showing and doing and all that sort of stuff, it would have made things a lot easier. But yeah, like, and I now relate that back to how I actually put information out there for my potential clients. They can read in the magazine, they can listen on the podcast, they can watch the YouTube videos, they can come to in-person events. It covers so many different things. So if you're just doing one thing, just imagine that you're actually only tapping into 1/3 of your client base.
I knew that was like the best question to ask, because obviously none of the questions I ask are ever pre-planned. You know me. It's like whatever goes, and we just
Yeah.
go with it. It's so good. I was like, yes, this is such a good answer, because I'm also kind of the same. Like, I don't like, and I also don't sell the way that I like to buy. There's a lot of people that are out there professing this. You've got to sell the way that you like to buy so that it's easier for you. And I'm like, or we can stretch our comfort zone and we can tap into the dreamiest client and just know that we're worthy of serving that particular group of people or person and draw them into us, because we know how to hit their sweet spot. We know how they like to consume the content. So it might not be comfortable for everybody to get on a podcast or to record videos or reels, or and there's other ways that you can edge yourself towards that. If someone doesn't like reels or videos, they can literally just do a voiceover.
Yes.
With like a little B-roll in the background. There's so many ways that we can like strategize this for everybody. And even like podcasts, you don't have to also put it on YouTube, but the SEO and the backlinks that work so well to get people across to your website and for Google to be recognizing you. Like, Google and YouTube are basically in bed with each other. So if anybody's thinking, I want to have a podcast, but I don't feel comfortable sharing the video, you could also just use a blank screen the entire time, but it's the description that is full of juicy keywords that goes up onto YouTube that backlinks to your website, and Google will just love you for it. So hopefully that helps someone that's listening today. And I think, kind of just to wrap it up as well, I want to go a little bit deeper and talk about these dream clients, these ideal clients, the client avatar. It's such a broad and general topic, but I think a lot of people get confused when they are also making that, if I don't have this exact person mapped out, then I'm not taking any action. And then there's other people that are like, I'm just going to take messy action and it doesn't matter, and I'm not going to be strategic. And they can be quite like, what is the balance point there? And what I think you've got an ebook as well where people can access that to find out this a more aligned ideal client. So what are your thoughts? How can you help people when they're wanting to realign with who they desire to serve?
Yeah. If you're first starting out in business, I actually recommend you say yes to everybody. And there's actually a reason for that, because I know this goes so against the grain for other coaches. Because when you say yes to everyone, you're actually going to work out who you like working with. So if you then can sit back and go, okay, who have been the most easiest clients that have literally just gone, yep, they show up on time, they do the deliverables, like they make the payment on time, like let's not forget about that. Like, that's how you capture your dream client. And you basically take every aspect of all of those dream clients and you can put it into maybe 1 or 2 different avatars. Because I think that there's I think it's very hard to put it into just one avatar with it, but just say yes to start off with, like to freaking everybody, and then you're gonna have a notebook beside you and you're gonna go, oh my god, this client is like just pulling my hair out, like it's just not worth the time or the money that you've charged for it, or this client, oh my god, I want 10 more of them. Because
Mhm.
I mean, immediately, I mean, you would know yourself who you want to work with now because you've worked with so many different clients.
Yeah.
And I think when you're first starting in business, it's very hard to work out who that dream client is if you haven't had previous clients. So I just say go and say yes to start off with, and then work out who you liked and maybe what aspects that you've liked out of it, and then write it all down, and then you can create like your dream avatar, and that's that person who you're going to be writing your content for, you're going to be speaking to, and really calling in, you know, on such a deeper level, because you really know who they are, but also too, you know who you are and what you can deliver.
Mm. And I feel like the tangent here and like the market research is going to be really important. And there's another episode, if anybody wants to listen to it, Erin Morris, and we talked about market research and how to ask the right questions. And so that's amazing because it links exactly with what you're saying, Christine, around if you're not asking a diverse range of people, and predominantly we're talking about service-based businesses. I'd
Yeah.
like to throw in, I also serve e-commerce, so I'm going to throw in that element for the
Yeah.
women that are listening. Then they're
Yeah.
like, oh, but I sell a product, like how does this apply? And
Yeah.
there's all these people that are running around niche, like niche down, further than
Yeah.
that, deeper, more, and they're just narrowing it. But a lot of the women I attract in my community, they're so multifaceted and they've got like multiple business structures running at the same time. Their ecosystems are extremely diverse and they're not in like a really narrow field. But if you're someone that has a product and you still don't know the dream client, you do need to go out and still do that diverse research. And it's like, well, let's say it's a product, and is the grandma buying it? Are we targeting that age demographic? Where are they hanging out? Is it the husbands that are going to be purchasing it for the women? Is it the women that are just independently buying it? And is it for their children? So what emotions do we need
Yeah.
to invoke to inspire that desire to purchase? That's
Yeah.
a really awesome question that you can ask. And that's just off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
going deeper than that, it's like if you have an ideal client and you already know all of the things about them and you're still not hitting your goals, then I would encourage you to go back to your strategy and look at what Christine was talking about before, whether they need to learn audio, whether you have to do expos or market stalls or face-to-face so they can touch and feel the products. They might actually need a more of a textured
Yeah.
experience with your item before they decide they can trust it, as opposed to, oh, well, I'm just going to hire an agency and do like $2,000 of ads every month and it's still not selling. And so when those things start to flop and you're like, wow, I've got all this stock here, what am I going to do? It's like, go back to your strategy. It's probably not an ideal client issue. If you are nodding your head to everything that we're saying here and you're like, yeah, I get that, but why am I not making the sales? And it might not be even your messaging. It could potentially just be the way that your clients desire to learn about the product.
Yeah.
And so it's probably a marketing issue.
Yeah.
I just like to kind of highlight a few various
I
things.
love that. Yeah. I find that now a lot of people going back to markets. Like I actually myself buy so much from markets because I want to support small businesses. But also too, I like to, like, if it's a perfume or, you know, like a body scrub or something, like I want to touch it.
Yeah.
And you can't get that off a web page.
Yeah, I need a tester. Like, at the very
Yeah,
least, if you have a smelling
exactly.
product and you want me to
Yeah,
pick that scent, send
yeah,
me a sample, baby.
yeah,
Like, put that scent of even the candle, put it on a little sniff card for me and
yeah,
put it in the post.
yeah,
I'm happy to pay. I'm happy to
yeah,
pay that $5 to $10 of postage or whatever.
yeah,
But I'd like to, especially if you're buying a candle, these days some candles are priced around that $45 mark if you're going a
yeah,
bit upmarket.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we just factor in all the overheads. I'm happy to pay postage. So if anyone has an amazing product and they want me to smell it, send
Yeah.
me that sample, because I'm open
I
to it. Like,
love it.
I've got all my little oils and everything
Yes.
over here, and I'm always
Same.
spraying
Yeah.
something. I just love,
I
especially
know.
essential oils. I love
Yes.
like more of a natural element. It's good for my hormones and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's so
Same,
cool.
same. Yeah. I feel like, we're actually going back to basics with marketing. I don't know if you've experienced that. Like, I think a lot of people are, you don't need to have like everything also fancy. It's more like, if you've got a product, go out to the markets. Like, there are so many shops now that you can actually rent a space in as well, and like even like put it on
I love those.
consignment.
Yeah, they're so
There's
cool.
so many different things with it, but I think sometimes we overcomplicate marketing
Yeah.
than what it really needs to be.
And then I notice, especially in my clientele, the ones that they're making a lot more money per month, and I want to speak to that because that avatar is slightly different, where they do like to finesse and they do
Yes.
love to perfect. And even myself personally, like it suits my personality. I'm embodied in. I want to use the same gradients, and I love to have my font. I'm nothing without my brand kit. Thank you, Jess. I love you. But like my brand kit is like my thing. I love to use
Yeah.
it when I can. And I don't even put out an awful lot of content because I'm also embodied in a belief about like magnetizing clients towards me.
Yes.
I'm a projector. I wait for invitation some of the time. And so, yeah, there's a lot of things I could speak, but I'm not really here to talk about myself. And I do also value where podcasts just cut to the chase. And I just want to thank you for having that ability
My
to,
pleasure.
you just know how to like inject the story and then still speak to that transformation constantly. So I'd love for the listeners to take notes in the way that Christine was able to pull you in, even the story about her son. Perfect example. You can emotionally connect to it, and it's become just your frequency. It's become something that's not strategic. And I just want to compliment you on that embodiment, because
Oh,
a lot of people
thanks.
will, for a time, need to be strategic. You will need to think about what you want to say, and it's okay that you need to do that. But have a look at Christine. Like, eventually you'll get to a point where telling your story is just normal and it's a part of who you're being, and you won't have to be so constructed about your bios and how to introduce yourself on stage. And you just get to a point where you're like, this is me, and it's okay if other people think different things about who I am, and that's
Yeah,
okay with me. So I had one final question, I think, that
go for
was
it.
a like kind of a big one, like niche up and out or niche down and in. What are
Oh,
you gonna I need to know. Is it niche or no niche? Because
no
everything, and
niche.
I think it's
No
like niche
niche.
or niche. Some people call it niche and then they laugh at me because I say niche. Like
No, I call it
there's an
niche,
American lady and
but
she's like,
yeah.
it's niche. And I was like, is it niche or niche? I don't really
No,
care what it is. I think
yeah.
people know what we're talking about. So whatever.
Yeah, I am a multi-passionate person. So I have three businesses. So,
I think that's an understatement. That's an understatement. You're a little like me. We're kind of like, we're going to do photo shoots and then we're
yeah,
going to do networking and we'll
yeah,
do awards and we're going to do this.
that's
Like,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
It yeah. And I always found that if I obviously structure my day based on the business that I'm working on, and that allows me then to get like super focused. So like Wednesdays is the Corporate Escapists, like Tuesdays is my wedding business, like like
Yeah.
I have particular days, so then I know like the energy that I need to bring for it.
Mm.
But if I was to niche down, my creativity stops, and what happens then is I don't know, like it's like the lack of sales, like everything then starts to happen because I am not just who I am.
Yeah, like I
So
felt the panic in thinking about, you're like, if I have to think about it, and it's like,
I can't
and
do
and
it.
that
I
happens for
can't.
me as well. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, like, we don't want
Yes.
to, and that means
Yes.
there's no compromise there. If it's something I don't want to
Yeah.
do, I'm not doing it anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even
Same.
gonna say I'm too old for that, but like I kind of am now. I'm just at that emotional point in my life where I
Yeah.
understand what I like and what I don't like, and I just don't
Yes.
settle.
Yeah, no, and I'm the same. And even now, like I just outsource. Like I have an amazing VA, and I'm just like, okay, you need to do this this week, and she goes, okay, no worries. It's all the stuff that I don't like doing anymore. Not to say like I can tell you now, like when you start a business, like there's going to be things that you do not like to do, but you're going to have to do, my
Yeah.
friend. But I guess yeah, for me, like some people like to just focus on one thing. They can't handle that. However, a friend of mine said to me the other week, she goes, Christine, I think you've got ADHD. And I said, I probably do,
Probably.
because my head, like, I literally wrote a post at like 11:30 last night because it just came to my head. I'm like, oh, that's what I got to talk about. Let's go ahead and do it. So yeah, that's how I don't know. I probably work so differently to a lot of people, but I just allow my creativity, and whatever needs to be said needs to be said. And I've allowed that to happen with it, because I've trusted myself more and more over the time I've been in business.
This has been such a brilliant conversation, and I love that we duck and weave, because this is the vibe. Like, for us, this is the vibe.
It
And
is.
if anybody else is very confused, send us a DM, because we do know how to help people that are
Yeah.
in one with niche.
Exactly. We do know how to do it. It's just
Yeah.
maybe not how we do it, but we know how to get you on track and how to grow your
Literally,
business.
literally. It's like, I've got one product, Danica, how do I sell it? And I'm like, well, you don't do what I do, but this is what you can do.
Yes, exactly.
I just
Yep.
love it. So if anybody wants to get in contact with you, Christine, what's your favorite platforms? Do you have your, like, what have you got going on? The ebook, obviously, I'll put in the description
Yeah.
as well, so that people
Yeah.
can download that formula to find their ideal avatar. And yeah, like, what's your plug at the end? What do you want to finish with?
Oh, look, I'm loving Instagram at the moment. So
Mhm.
I think it also allows me to be a little bit more creative, doing some reels and that as well. So drop me a DM, like, just come over and say hi and let me know that we heard about me, and, ask me any questions. Like, I'm an open book. So just ask me any question that you have.
That's great. I'll put the links in the descriptions for you as
Yeah,
well, Christine, and the name of your podcast as well. We did a really good episode, so I'll
we
probably link that
did.
too, because that was
Yeah,
really deep.
it
I mean,
was.
when don't I go deep? I'm always like, and there's the
Yeah.
layer, and we're going to talk about this.
Yeah. 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 And
Ah,
nothing's off
so
topic. So
good.
I love it. So
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, I'll catch everyone for the next episode. If you have any questions, you can also comment below, add comments, add reviews. We always love to get those stars in,
yeah.
and it really helps to just grow our platforms as well. So feel free to support and reciprocate, and we'll love you for it. And we'll see
Yeah.
you next time for Strategy and Soul. Thank you so much, Christine.
Thank you, beautiful.